Hello and welcome back to another Pickled Unscripted. As always, I'm Dracoya and I have with me the talented Matt the Pickled Dragon. Matt, you're sitting there pouring yourself a drink. What are you pouring?
Oh, I'm drinking your gift, the Glenlivet 12.
Enjoy, my dear.
It is
Enjoy.
good. So good.
And then I've got some beautiful Spanish wine. It's
Oh,
like Pinot Grigio. I'm really trying to learn more about wine lately. I'm going to take the sommelier class eventually.
sommelier.
Yes. And as you guys can see, Matt and I are experimenting with our background.
Woo.
But we have a crazy story for you today. Matt, you want to take it from here?
Yeah, so actually Stephen Glicker was the one, another YouTuber from Roll for Combat broke this news about the sales of the new player's handbook. Um, and I think it's really an interesting story because there's still a lot of speculation, but the signs are kind of not looking so good for WotC.
Yeah.
Um, so you know what first came out, and let me just share. There was a story from N World here, where the 2024 Player's Handbook is the fastest selling D&D book ever.
Oh, really? Is it?
Sells sells three times as many as the 2014 version. Now, before you say, "Wow," like they're talking about in the same time frame, like the first month of sales. Um, and you got to remember that 2014 landed and didn't really take off. It didn't really explode upon landing. It you know, Critical Role appeared and all of the influencers appeared, and then it blew up, right? To the
Mhm.
3 or $4 million, 4 million copies of the 24 version of the 2014 version of the Player's Handbook. So and they mentioned that it surpassed even Tasha's Cauldron of Everything, to become the fastest selling D&D book ever in the entire 50-year history. Uh,
Wow.
Big news, right? And they go on. They say, hey, we got 85 million fans and 18 million users on D&D Beyond. All this really cool stuff, right?
Of course.
But then the book scan numbers count, and book scan it tracks book sales. Now this is physical book sales, okay?
Okay.
So, and they book scan says, well, in the first month they've sold 3,700 copies. That is terrible. That is terrible. Now, this does not include Amazon. So that's an important thing to point out. It does not include Amazon, but Steven has an inside track at Amazon. He's got a guy on the inside, as they say. And if you look at the listing for the book, I mean, at the time I looked at it the other day, it only had 6 reviews. And
Yeah.
I mean, if thousands and thousands of people bought it on Amazon, it would have more than 6 reviews. I mean,
Right.
my books, I sold just a few thousand copies of one book and it had 20, 30 reviews, and that was for a book that I didn't even advertise or anything. I just put it out there. So for this to have only sold this many copies physically, and here they even note the numbers from BookScan, which is known to be reliable, which it is. Um, the question then is, are these just the PDF sales that they're selling through D&D Beyond?
Well, that was my question. Is it just the PDF sales? Is that going to be completely different?
It could be, but the only thing that struck me was in the announcements from the Wizards of the Coast.
Yeah.
Uh, it it used the word largest print run. So
Oh,
yeah, not only the 2024 Players Handbook was the biggest print run in D&D history.
It does say print run. Okay.
Yes. Okay, so this is an important factor.
All right.
When I worked at Barnes and Noble for like 10 years. And what can happen is they can do a whole bunch of print runs of a book, ship them out to Barnes and Nobles and all these different places. Even Amazon will have copies in stock, and the WotC can, well, and publishers do this too, but WotC can say, "Hey, those are sales,"
So
because
WotC can claim sales that haven't actually been sold because vendors are buying giant purchases.
yeah, the
Barnes and
wholesalers are
Noble,
purchasing.
buys 40 million copies, and Amazon buys another 45 million copies. WotC can claim that they sold 85 million copies, but the
Yes,
reality is they didn't actually. Their vendors took it, and that's not the same as an actual sale to a player.
that is a wholesale number.
There
Now,
we go. Different,
yes,
completely different.
so and BookScan, these folks, they track retail sales, not the wholesale sales. So there's a significant difference there.
So it sounds like WotC's like padding their numbers to create what? Some FOMO, basically.
Fear of missing out. So they're trying to get people excited, and sales may not be going the way they want. It's distinctly possible. Stephen Glicker even said it's likely, it's possible that it's PDF sales driving this hype. But the fact that they use the word print run makes me a little bit skeptical of that.
Because they're saying print run specifically. So I don't think that that includes the PDF copies, right?
Yeah,
All right. So it just sounds like WotC's trying to pull some shady business. Again, surprise. How unlike WotC.
I know. So I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think that they've sold, 100,000, 200,000 PDFs? Because that's the number we're talking about. I think like Tasha's sold something like 120,000 copies or something like that. So that's the range we're talking about in terms of being fastest selling book ever in 30 days. 30 days since
Yeah.
they released.
I don't know anybody personally that's bought this book. I know two people that won the book in a raffle, but I don't know anyone that's actually bought it. And I know a lot of people that play D&D.
Yeah, I don't know anyone that's bought it either, and I also know a lot of people who play D&D. I know people who intend to buy it, but they haven't bought it yet. They're finishing everything they're doing, their current campaigns, and then they're gonna go try it out, you know.
Right.
But they haven't bought it yet, so it's not like people are so excited, like we got to go buy it because they're gonna sell out and there's never gonna be another copy ever again. Well, that's not true,
Yeah.
right? So,
Plus, you also have to consider the inflated price of what this new version is
oh
versus what the older one is.
yeah,
Now, and
what is it?
I've looked through the new player's handbook pretty extensively, and Matt and I are not done putting out some videos on that, right, Matt? But
Yeah,
as far as I can tell, it's almost like they have combined like what would be the new edition of Tasha's Cauldron and the player's handbook into one. So yeah, it does appear that this handbook is going to be a little bit thicker. So I can understand a slightly inflated price, but not this much. This is insane. So yeah. Anyway, what do you guys think? You guys are gonna have to like and comment and tell us what you think below. Like, comment, subscribe. And for those of you that are doing any other tabletop games or current tabletop games, if you need any miniatures, this right here is my Viking that I got a
ooh,
little award for. And you know where to contact me. It's going to be in the description below. You can send me an email or find me on Instagram. And yeah, I guess as always, Matt, come back and have another round on us.
woohoo!